Hello, thank you so much for joining me, and today we're going to be doing crafts with mudlarking finds. Well, there's a lot to look at on the desk today. It's been a long time coming, this one. I have filmed it once already before, but I'm afraid I made so many mistakes that Mick just couldn't piece it all together. You'd get very confused, I think. Anyway, so the idea is to make moulds today. I'm going to show you two moulds, okay? I'm going to show you a one-piece mould, and I'm going to show you how to do a two-piece mould. And however you do it, you can apply it to, I'm going to do two heads, but equally you could do a two-part mould on a bottle or a little jar. You know, the same principles apply, okay? It's just that what I want to do is I want to make a candle. I want to make one of these candles. So there's lots of things on the table today. Let's see what we're going to start with. So you obviously need the thing you're going to mould, whether it's heads, whether it's a jar, whether it's a bottle, whatever it is. So you need those, okay? You need some of this foam board, okay? It's like foam in the middle. Foam in the middle and like a paper, plastic paper type thing on the outside. Okay, so some of that. You need a glue gun. I've got a cordless one. I wish I could find my other one because it's heats up a bit quicker. But anyway, I've got my cordless one. Glue sticks. Make sure you've got plenty of glue sticks. Okay, you're going to need a ruler, and you're going to need a pen and a pen. Right, and obviously wax. I've got beeswax here. I've got some wicks. I've got all different length wicks here. You get them off Amazon in kits. Lots of different lengths. Okay, depending on what you're making. And that comes with something like that, which would enable you to position your wicks in the middle of your pot. Okay, that's what that helps, and keeps it up straight while your wax is still wet. Clay. Now you need some clay for your two-part moulds, and I'll show you why in a minute. Right, I think that's everything that you need. Okay, so let's just quick recap. Glue gun with glue sticks, ruler, pen, beeswax, foam board, the things you want to model and mould, and some clay. Okay, and the wicks that come with that. Okay, that's everything you need. Right, so first of all, you get the item that you're going to do a mould of, and you put it on the foam board. Okay, and you know that the bottom edge of it, the bottom edge of it is going to go to the edge of your base, because you're going to build a box. What we're essentially doing is we're building a box to pour the mould, to pour the silicone into. Okay, so we need it to come further out either side and further out at the back, so that when we fill the mould, it will have resin, it will have silicone all the way around it on three sides, but not on the fourth. Right, you don't want your silicone on the fourth side, because that is the side you'd fill your mould from. Okay, so first of all, cut your base. Okay, So let me show you. I've cut my base here with the head touching the bottom there. There's a gap all the way around and at the top. Okay, then you cut your sides, and the sides are the same. You need to be able to put that head in the middle and have something either side, top and bottom. Yeah, you understand? Top and bottom, there needs to be room for silicone. Okay, so you cut two sides. Are you following me so far? So that's where your head will be. Your sides will be like that. Yep, you just check to make sure there will be resin. I'll do it that way. You just check to make sure, just check to make sure there will be silicone on three sides. Yep. And then you measure the side for there. And then the side for there. And then you hot glue that into a box. Right, okay. So let's glue the first one on. And I'm gluing the side one onto the base, okay? First side is on the base. These markings here were just so that I didn't get confused while I was making it, so that I know which piece goes where. You don't need to mark yours. I think I need a new glue gun. Essentially, you're just making a box, okay? You're just making a box so that the silicone will mould around the object. Okay, so we've done that side, Do this side. Yes, I think this would have been a good time to have bought a new glue gun. A bit late now. Not to worry, we'll work with what we've got. Okay, just make sure all your seams are glued up. You don't want the resin coming out, do you? So doesn't have to be neat, doesn't matter, because we're going to rip it apart at the end. Okay, so now we need to put clay in the bottom of there and do half of this head. I'm going to do a face down in clay. Okay. So clay. That's clay. Put it in here. Okay, just a bit of a layer on the bottom. This is just this is just air dry clay, and I can pick it off at the end and reuse it. And then let's make sure, yeah, it's going to sit fine. So then I want to do half of this in the clay. So first of all, I'll just wrap it round it, because we'll be neatening the edge up in a minute. So if this was a bottle, you'd be doing the same, you'd just be going round half a bottle. Okay. Using that flat. That's just going there. Okay. Put this all, get our pencil, and we'll press it. Make a nice neat edge. I know this seems quite daunting and complicated. I feel exactly the same, honestly. But I've made one. I've done one already. And it worked. Now, at the end, I'm putting the clay at the end right up to the top because I want that to stick to the side here, because that's the end that we're going to be pouring the resin into. And then we need to stick that in there and push it so that the end is on there. Make sure she's in the middle, and we want to fill the side gaps, fill the side, okay, with more clay. I'm just tapping it down, just making sure we've got a good edge and a nice seal between the clay and the head. Right, so there we go. Right, a lot of messing about, a bit of faffing, but we've got clay around the front of that head. It doesn't have to be exactly half and half, it doesn't matter, okay, because this mould's going to go together. But what we do, to make sure that when we do the mould again, when we mould it with whatever we're moulding it with, we can put the two pieces together correctly, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a, sorry, how do I, there we go. I'm going to poke that in there, okay? I'm going to poke that in there. Yep, can you see? And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'll have a poke there. So make them quite chunky, because those are going to be the thing that makes sure that the mould, when in two parts, will fit in the right place. Yeah, so it'll fit together correctly. Right, so don't forget we need this clay at the bottom there to make sure that the silicone doesn't go between that and there, because you need to be able to pour your wax or whatever it is into the mould from there, okay? So, right, shall I recap? We've made the box, we've sealed any seams up because I don't want the resin to leak out. I wonder if you could tape it. Maybe you could tape it as well, I don't know. But there we go, we've got a box, we've got clay half and half, we've got the puncture mark so that we can locate one side of the mould and the other side of the mould. Okay, so that's that mould done. Let me just wrap up this clay. Pop that to the back there. Okay, and then we've got this one. I'm going to do this one piece mould in here. Sorry, one piece mould in here. You know, I keep going up here because I've got a monitor in front of me and I keep thinking it's the camera. Right, so here we've got, going to do one piece mould. I'm going to use this cup because I can cut this cup off it. I'm going to glue her down there, or stick her with a bit of clay, and that's her ready for the mould. It's as simple as that. Right, so let me just get a bit more clay. I'll stick her down with the clay. Okay, she's got a blob of clay on the bottom, like so. I'm just going to pop her into the bottom of there. Like that, she's stuck in the bottom of there now. Right, just let me get the silicone. Right, we've got the silicone that I'm going to use, which is DWR Plastics RTV Silicone Moulding Rubber. Okay, and it's a two-part. This is the white rubbery bit, and then you have the catalyst, the thing that makes it, they come together, the thing that makes it set. Okay, and I use a plastic jug, because when we're finished and it's all dried, you just simply peel the silicone out of the jug to use again. Very, very easy. Right, we're at the end of this one now, there's not much left. So let's use what we've got and see how we go. First. Not that I'm frugal or anything, but I do like to get every last bit. Right. Put the last of that in there. Like I said, I have just got another new one, but let's see how far this one goes. So you need to give it a good old mix. Okay. Never know, we might just be lucky and have enough to do this half of the mould. Right, so you simply, and watch for leaks. If you've seen any leaks, plug them up. Plug them up with the glue gun. But yeah, let's just pour this into the mould. Honestly, I know it's daunting to do something like this. I do, because I've done this already. I've already done this mould and I made so many mistakes. But I made mistakes, but I still managed to make the mould, so it's not that bad, is it? I'm just going to mix some more. It's alright, it has a work time of about 40 minutes, so there's plenty of time. There is plenty of time. Just give it a tap to get the bubbles moving. Right, here we've got some new. I've made quite a few moulds with this rubber, hence why it's run out. Sorry, I'm just trying to... Just going to pour some in there. So I know I need a bit for that one and a bit for the other. And if I've got any left over, I shall be tempted to make a mould of something else. Because you know me, I don't like to waste any. So I'll stick that back on there. Really mix it in well. Don't forget, yeah, I've got quite a long working time with it. Oh, I've made loads. I think I'm going to be making a few moulds. There we go. Okay. So let's pour some on here till we get to the top of this mould. Don't want to be too stingy. We did the box just the right size. There you go. So that is now moulding the back of the head, and we need to leave that to dry, and I'll either put it in front of the fire and I'll finish it off tonight, or we'll do it tomorrow. But now we're just going to pour this over the doll's head. I think I even underestimated for that. But to be fair, I would rather just do it like this than make way too much, because I can't stand the waste. I can't stand the thought of making too much that it was wasted. Right, we just need to make sure it goes well and truly over the head. Let's get a little pot. Have a look what else we've got I can mould. I'll come back in a second because I might be able to do a little mould of something here. Well, I went downstairs and I just picked 3 of the knuckle bones. 3 of those. I thought, yeah, because I did quite fancy making a few complete sets of that. So let's see. Yep, it's only a tiny little bit there, not enough for any more moulds. Let's give it a tap. Let's get the bubbles to the top. So we've got that one with the 3 knuckle bones in. We've got that one with the doll's heads. Those are just single moulds. And then we've got this one here, which is a 2-part mould. What I'll do is I'll come back because I need to leave these to dry now overnight, or at least a few hours. Right, it's the next day. The moulds are fully dried now. So this one is a 2-part one, don't forget, so we will have to do the other half of it. But these ones are 1-part ones, so we can take these ones out now. I've already split the side of the plastic there just so that we can pop it out. There we go. There we go, so we've got those 3 things now moulded here. So if I wanted to make any of those and paint them up and make little games with them, I could do. And this one is the doll. And what I forgot to tell you to do was when you put your doll's head or whatever it is, if it's got a front and a back, that is, when you put it in, mark the back. I'm guessing by looking at that that's the back. But when you do it, make sure you know that that's the back of the head. I have done several moulds where I have the bit where I've cut is the front and they've still moulded absolutely fine. But if it's got a front and a back, mark on your cup where the back of the head is. And the reason for that is it's a 1-piece mould, but we're going to slice the silicone to get the head out. Okay, and you'll still be able to mould with it, because what I do is whenever I do these moulds, I use a piece of wire. Well, I'll show you. So I've split the cup. Let's get the mould out. These can be a bit fiddly, but worth it in the end. Okay, so there we have it. And I marked it. Oh, I did mark it. I marked it here on the silicone as well. There. Oh, can't see. The light's a bit bright, sorry. Can you see? I did mark the back of this, and then I put the mark onto the mould, so I knew where to slice it. I'm only guessing that that's the back because I made the mistake of not doing it when I put the cast in the mould. So remember, if it's got a front and a back, mark where the back of it is on there, and then when you finish, just mark it on the mould a little bit on the silicone so you can see. Because I'm going to slice down, not all the way down to the bottom, but near enough. There you go. You just want to be able to open it up like so to pop her out. There you go, she's out. And then what you do when you do your mould, okay, so you filled it with your resin, and then what I do is I just get a piece of this wire, I just twist it, keeps it in place. You can tape it, you can put a piece of tape around. I just always use a piece of wire, and you fill your mould there, and then you undo your wire when you take your resin out, And there you go, you pop it out. But yeah, just take your clay off the bottom of there. Give it a bit of a wipe, and there you go, you've got your thing. That's the first mould, that's the second mould, sorry, that's the head. You will make a resin, you can see because of the light, it's so bright. Oops. You make a resin mould. Just like that. Okay. Right, now let's get to this one. Okay, so I've slit down the corners. I've used my blade, but please use a scalpel or some similar sort of craft knife. Mickey's bringing me one, so I will be able to use it in the future. But I've cut down the glue on all the corners, okay, so that I can take the sides off. I will need to rebuild it again, so I need my glue gun. So let's take the sides off. Okay, so the sides are off. Let's take this off because we can reuse that clay. That clay can go back. It's still soft because it's been protected from the air, so there's no waste there. It's got a bit of the paper on, but I wouldn't worry about that. Wouldn't worry about the paper on it. Let's get the clay. So we just need to take the clay off here. Leave the mould on, try and keep it in the mould. Just take that clay off. Okay, so that clay is still nice and wet, nice and soft. So I'm gonna just tie that up nice and tight, pop it back to reuse it another day. Okay, let me just get a wipe. Right, so we don't want to take this out of the mould. I'll tell you what we will need though, a little bit of, I've took the plasticine off the end of there. We can put, sorry, not plasticine, I took the clay off there. We will put more clay on the end, but let me just use a wipe just to get that residue off. And what I forgot to tell you, what you need also is some Vaseline. Okay, what you need to do, you need to cover this mould when I put it in there in Vaseline so that the next layer of the silicone does not stick to the mould that you've already made. Okay, otherwise you just end up with a one-part mould. Okay, it's had a wipe and I've put that little bit of clay back at the bottom so that we can stick it in our box. Okay, so we're going to put it in the bottom, and then what we want to do is glue it. Glue the box back again, because we're going to put silicone in the top. So you understand, we've still got the silicone in the bottom. We've got those little things that stick up, and let me show you. Can you see those little bits that stick up there? Stick up so that they'll match the mould that goes on. But don't forget, when we've done that, we do have to put Vaseline on it. I've kept it on the table with a brush on it because I know I'll forget. And now this looks messy. I know it does. But you know what? This is only the second time I've done it. So we're not experts, are we? So don't worry if yours looks messy too, because it did work. The one I made before, the first one I made, came out like that. So don't give up when you think, oh my gosh, look at the state of that. Because it does work, okay? So yeah, let's just seal this up, and then I'm going to put the Vaseline on. Yeah, my glue gun is on its last leg, so I have to push the glue out rather than use the trigger. So, and do need to get a new one. Right, so I'll just hot glue all these back on there, and then we'll come back when it's time to put the Vaseline on. Right, all the sides are glued on now, and we need to put on the Vaseline. In fact, I'm going to use a smaller brush. It's only a small mould. It's very important that you cover it all in the Vaseline. Otherwise the Vaseline will just stick to the mould. I am going to leave a tiny little area, tiny on the side there, just like a little piece like that, just there, just a little, about a centimetre, purely because when I made the last one, there was a tiny little piece like that that didn't have Vaseline on, and it meant that the mould stayed together like a hinge. So both pieces, I won't lose them, and they stick together, but I can still work it, I can still open it, I can still close it, because I just left a sliver there that the Vaseline wasn't on. So I'm going to do the same here and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I can always cut it off. But yeah, I'm just going to leave a little slither there that doesn't have the Vaseline on. Not on both sides, just on one. That little like hingy bit. Just make sure. And it will stick. Okay. You can't see probably, but there you go, got Vaseline on it. She's good to go. I'm just glad I remembered. Yep, that's an important part. Right, let's have a bit of a tidy up in here, and then I'll come back with the silicone. Right, okay, here we are again, mixing some of the silicone. Show you another picture of the make of it. I think it was about £14.50 for this big tub and the catalyst as well, the thing that makes it a set. You can order more of this as well. I think a bottle like this is about £4, because the more you put in, the faster it sets. So I have sent for more of that because I like it to set faster. Okay, so let's stick some of this in. Then we just give it a stir. Mix it all in. I have put a little bit extra in of the catalyst purely because I've sent for some more, and it means it sets quicker. Okay, so we've sealed the sides back up again. We've put Vaseline onto the silicone mould. Okay, and now we're going to pour this over here, creating the second part of our mould. You could do a one-part mould if you want and do the slicing like we did with the head, but I just wanted to show you two different sorts of moulding that you can do. I do prefer the one part where you just slice it. Don't forget to mark on your pot the back of the head if you do it that way. Right, I think we've pretty much drained that. We'll leave that to dry because in order to clean it, we just need to leave it to dry and then we just peel it completely off. Very, very easy. I forgot to show you last time I peeled it and didn't show you, but I'll leave it to dry so I can just show you. You don't need to clean that and get everything all mucky. Just leave it to dry. It's silicone, it'll peel straight off. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave that one now to set. And then when that's set, we can start making one of these little candles, little head candles. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a new craft area behind me. Well, it's the same room, just that if you saw on Facebook, you would have seen that I've just spent 10 hours rearranging everything that I've got, getting some sort of order, getting all my craft things that I use to the side of me here. I'm sorry if you see me, I can't, I've got a habit, I've now got a screen underneath the camera. So if you catch me looking down, it's because I'm just checking at what's in focus and what isn't, etc. So I'm going to try and look at the camera, but if I look down, it's just because I'm looking at the screen, and it's quite off-putting. You can't help but look at yourself. Sounds very vain. But yeah, to the side, all the craft items that I need. We've got the glues and the glitters and all that sort of brushes, everything, and the Decoupage newspapers. And over in that corner, I've also got the resins and the moulds and the ribbons. And then I've got the majority of my fines behind me, which goes quite high, you can't see. And on the side as well, I've got my fines. So yeah, so I just thought I'd let you know how all of a sudden it's changed. But yeah, let's get cracking. Let's get sorting out this mould, because it's finished. Well, the mould's finished. It's fully set. So I'm gonna put my glasses on. You know, I have to work with my glasses on. Right, so this is a moment of truth. Let me get my blade. But I forgot to bring me the knife, so I'm still using this blade. I'm just gonna cut down. You could probably just pull it apart, but I'm just going to use this blade just to help me pull it apart. And hopefully it's worked. And so when you see what state mine's in, when you do yours, you'll realise, oh actually, you know what, it still works even if it looks a state. Because this has been a torturous make for me. This is more mixed domain, doing the mould. Right, okay, let's pop that in there. Blade in there, and I will get a knife. Right, so we just want to rip the sides off. Okay, we don't need those anymore. Let's get rid of those. I can feel all the Vaseline on that. Right, I'll just get a bit of a wipe, let's see. Right. Okay, just making sure it's going to split because it has leaked down the side a bit, so let's try and prise it apart. The Vaseline's done its job. You can see the Vaseline has worked. That bit that's gone down the side there, we can cut that off. My scissors. I've moved everything now, so I don't know where anything is. Right, see that bit that's just floated down the side of there. I can just cut that off. And these bits of corners, we can neaten it up, sorry, with the scissors. Right, you ready? Moment of truth. There we go. Oh, it has hinged a little bit. I'm not going to pull that off there because I like the fact that it's hinged a little bit there. Do you remember me saying I'm going to leave a little bit so it hinges? And it has. Right, well, that little bit that's snuck in at the bottom there, I can just trim that off. Right, should we take her out? Her out. Now let's get this Vaseline off my hands. Let's give it a bit of a wipe. We don't need to save that clay at the bottom. Let's just get it off. Okay, let's give this mould a bit of a wipe. You know what? It's probably not the best looking mould you've ever seen, but it should do the job. I've got the wax on here. And what I did was, this is what I want to use. So I'll put 3 of those beeswax. Okay, there's nothing special to it, just beeswax pellets, okay? 3 lots of those into this wax melter. It's what you use for, you know, like waxing your legs. So yeah, that's going to be heating up in there. I've never used it before. When I originally did this mould, I went downstairs and did it on the cooker, and it obviously didn't take you with me. You didn't see it anyway because it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster, so I didn't bring you with me. So Mick told me to get one of these, a ProTech wax melter, I suppose you call it. It was fairly inexpensive. It wasn't that dear, but it means that I can melt the wax here at the table, and I don't have to don't have to sneak down to the kitchen. Okay, so right, there you go. I'm not going to lie, it's not the most pleasing wax mould to look at. It's a little bit messy, yeah, but you know what, it's got the markers which will go into each other like so, and I will pop the wire around. So hang on, let me just open it up a little bit and see, make sure it's all clean. Okay, right, what we do is, because remember we've got those little nodule things there, do you remember, that go into the holes. Okay, that I know it looks messy, I know it looks like something you've never seen before, but hopefully that will produce one of these. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some wire. You can use tape, I don't know why I prefer wire. I just put the wire around it. Yeah, I've got to get used to where I put everything now. I'm going to lose stuff because I won't remember where I put it. But honestly, 10 hours I was doing this room yesterday. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you, I thought it'd never end. I got to one point and I thought, what am I doing? Right, there we go. That should hopefully stop any seepages. But honestly, it's the scruffiest mould I've ever seen. But you know what, hopefully it will bear results. And also it means that you won't feel bad if your mould doesn't look absolutely perfect either. Like I say, doing moulds isn't really my thing. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do, just going to wait for this to melt. It's not too bad. I can't show you because it's plugged in, but it's melting away there. So yeah, I'll bring you back when that's all melted, so we can pour it into here. I forgot to say actually, because we're doing a candle and we're not just moulding like resin. I just put like a little V in one side at the top. Just cut it out of the top there, just a nick, so that I could put the wick in just on one side. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that wick in and have the bottom of it, sticking out the bottom of the mould. Yeah, so we can put it in the centre. So just hold that on in that little bit of a channel you've made, and then put the wire around it to hold the wick in place. Yeah, you can use tape for this. I just prefer wire. I don't know why. I just always use wire to keep the moulds together. Okay, I bent the wick over at the top just to stop it pushing through. Right, and the wax is melted. I've put a layer of wax in here because I didn't want the head to sit right on the bottom of this dish, because it would sit too low. Okay, so I've just put a little layer on there. Probably can see it's about up to there, halfway, maybe halfway. But yeah, just because I'm going to sit the head onto that, then put some more wax on. Right, so it's not been long, it's only been a few minutes. These come with a handle. I haven't used it before, so please bear with me. Oops. Yeah, it's going on the table a lot. Don't know, I'm going to stop that. Pouring down the side of the tub. Okay, one sec. Right, so I need to think of something to stop it pouring down the side of the tub, don't I? Right, that wax just peeled off the table. What I want to do is make sure that is in the middle. It's not leaking out the mould. It was just leaking off the edge of that because it's not got a lip. I don't know what to do. It needs some sort of like pouring spout, doesn't it? So that's something I'll get Mick onto, thinking of how to make a pouring spout on that. Yeah, I'm just holding this in the middle. But you know what I could have used actually, if I'd have thought about it before? I could have used this, because that would have held it in the middle. What can I say? What can I say? The kit that comes with these, use them. Ah, I tell you what, this is, oh gosh, I'm going to sell these. I'm going to sell these. Blood, sweat and tears have gone into these. Right, okay, so when you see the price of these, you'll understand why. because, right, that's setting now, so that's staying in the middle. Don't need to hold it any longer. So right, that's just going to take a few minutes to set. So I'll bring you back when it's set. Okay, don't forget, use what comes in the kit. I've just poured some wax into the head mould because I just wanted to show you, same with the skewer, to do the wick. So I'm just going to show you, just basically I put that in there, the wax in there. It's not set, the top bit looks like it's set, but I'm just going to just put the skewer right in till it reaches the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to leave that in there like that, simple as that. Then what I will do, I'll show you when the time comes, I'll just thread the wick through it. Hopefully it'll come out of this mould okay. I don't know how wax will come out of this size and a split one, but you know what, we'll try it together and see what happens. But yeah, that one's a long way off setting yet, so we'll wait for them both to finish setting and then I'll bring you back. I'm just going to find another little milk jar for that one, because it's only a little head, isn't it? Right, so I shall be back in a few minutes. Okay, I think they're set now. I'm just going to give this stick a bit of a twist round. Okay, and look, it just pulls out. Easy, very, very easy. Should we start with this one first, little one? Let's see if this comes out this mould, because I haven't done one in this little mould before. You know, the one that we split, wherever the split is. I can't even see, there. We split it, didn't we? We put a little split in like that. So, hopefully, it will just pop out. It when something works. There she is. We've got our little head there and we've got a little hole. I don't know if you can see that. That skewer's gone all the way through. We've got a little hole that we can put our wick through. Like so. Okay, feeling quite clever, Okay, let's see if this one's worked. See what I mean about it being messy, but you know what, it turns out okay in the end. Let's move that out of the way. Let's move that a bit closer. It's quite nerve-wracking because this is because you have to wait for it to dry. It's taken days to do this. Right, okay. Oh, by the way, I said it needed a lip. It doesn't need a lip. You see this wire here? There's a wire going across. You pour it at that point there, then it doesn't spill all over your desk. You know what? You learn something new. Right, okay. Oh gosh, I think it might have worked. Right, okay. She's a little bit messy around her head, but you know what? We can scrape that off with a knife. Just where the join is. Tiny, tiny bit messy. Can you see just where the join is? But it's actually still warm. Right, I'm going to peel the wax off. Stick it back in there. Why not? Right, let's move that mould to one side. Let's see, get my little knife. Just because I'm just going to scrape off just the little gnarly bits. Very, very easy. Just to make it a bit smoother. Okay, I'm going to stick it in the pot. Every little bit counts, doesn't it? Okay. There we have her and her ready to go into our things. Right, so what we're going to do is, yeah, I'm going to pour some wax in here. I'm going to put them in there like that. Let's get that. Put them in there like so. Just pop them in. Do you see, just sitting it in on top of the wax. That one's got some wax in as well. Make sure she fits. She fits. I'm going to pour some wax into both of these. And then I'm going to pop them in. Okay, this has got a plastic edge. And see how I pour it along there. A bit better, isn't it? Okay. Hopefully this will work. Let me just, this has got a bit of the clay still in it, so I'm just gonna, this is gonna go under the wax anyway, but I don't want that clay bit. Just to get rid of the clay. Obviously I didn't clean it. I would have took it to the sink, but you know, time restrictions and all that. Okay, right, okay. Here she is. I'm going to sit her into there. I'm going to leave her to dry. And the same, should we cut this wick down? Let's get the scissors and let's give her a little bit of a cut there. And she can carefully go into her new pot. Okay, let me put my knife away. Let's get rid of that clay I've just took off. Right, okay. I shall bring you back in a moment when these have dried. Okay. Well, we did it, didn't we? We finally got to the end of this, what I would call a torturous video, because this is totally out of my comfort zone, making a 2-part mould. This is what Mick does. This is his thing, not my thing. So, you know what? But it worked. I've done it. That was the first one that I did. And the filming was just so bad. I had to do it again. Believe me, it was even worse than this one. So yeah, so we did that one piece mould. Do you remember? We just did it one piece and we slit it to get it out. Okay. There we go. I'll show it you a little bit closer. See that? Yep. It's a good way of using these. Yeah, these milk glass jars that you get in all sorts of different shapes. And so this is the one that I first made. And then this is the one we've just made together now. There you go. So there you have it. We've done it. We've got to the end. We've made it. It was touch and go. It was traumatic. But we got there in the end. Now it's your turn. Now show me what you can do with the silicone moulds, wax and resin, whatever these, you use these with resin, I'll use them with wax, plaster, I use casting plaster, I also use for these things, anything really. And let me show you while you're here. I've put all my frozen Charlottes, that, see, this is the mould, my mould I use for frozen Charlotte, this tall thin mould. Pour into that little hole there. Whenever I've got any resin left over, stick it in that mould there, and I'll put them in a little jar. And if you remember, I got the bottle stopper, but I'd lost its screwy bit, just stuck on a cork, and now we have a little bottle of frozen Charlottes. And the head mould, I've just stuck all the heads I've moulded into a milk jar, stuck a lid on it. So every now and again I like to make, my bees fell in the bin, let me rescue my bee, my little bee. So yeah, there you go. Over to you. What can you create with silicone moulds? Don't forget to show me. Come over to Facebook and share all your pictures on there on the things you've done. Phew, the end. Hope you enjoyed that, and thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to press like. Don't forget to press that notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And also, if you really enjoyed it and you'd like to support this channel, please don't forget we have the Ko-fi link down below where you can donate the price of a coffee. Thanks. Bye.